Welcome to String Theory with Anthony Douglas. I am your host, Anthony Douglas. We are in the middle of the city here. We're in the middle of everything. Get slowed up a little bit. I got some time to talk to you. And so at any rate, I want to talk to you today about touring. And, some of the things that go on with it. Now, as I've said in the past, everything's different. The band you're working with, the headliner you're working with, the star you're working with, whoever it is, or your band, whatever it is, every situation is different. I mean, it just totally is so. But we're going to paint a picture here. Now I've been in RVs, and they have transported poor baby from one end of the country to the other, and that type of thing. And yeah, I mean, days of traveling, getting to know people maybe a little bit better than we want to. Yeah, you can feel it already, can't you? And, and having it, so let's have a little picture here. So they've brought you on board, they've brought you into the fold, and now, happy baby, you're going to be doing some touring. Now you've got the tour schedule, and it's amazing. You got a lot of dates. Let's just say you have Vegas, you have Mississippi, you've got casinos lined up from here to Christmas. Yeah, baby, this is looking really good. And then you got this tour bus. It's great. And then they show you your quarters, where you're going to be sleeping. Ah, yes, you can sense something right now, can't you, baby? Can't you? Oh, baby. Yeah. And it's this little 5-foot looking thing. There's maybe 5 feet. I don't know. You can crawl up in a little ball in there, because they got these bunks. Oh, we got this beautiful bus with bunks. Yeah, that's right. And you're going to be jammed in there like sardines in a sardine can. Oh, happy baby. People are going to start snoring, keeping you awake real nice. Yeah. And let's just say this is a big bus. And let's just give this thing, now that we're painting this picture. Now, I've added my experiences, and we'll blend my experiences in with this picture I'm painting, right? But let's go here. I've heard all the horror stories, and I've experienced my own. Let's go here. Let's give this bus an engine. Not a Caterpillar, no, baby. Let's give this thing a Detroit Jimmy. Something that's gonna keep you awake all night long. Like the Godzilla of chainsaws, this thing is loud. Yeah, that's right. I mean, it just sounds like pure insanity driving down the road. High-pitched screaming. Yes, the screaming Detroit Jimmy. I believe they invented that bad boy. in the 1930s, and they had them running all the way through into the 90s, I believe. They had this thing going for a while until finally, baby, it was just so much, lots. But yeah, this bad boy has a Detroit Jimmy in it. And you need to go to sleep now. And it's loud. And there's people snoring. The Detroit Jimmy isn't quite loud enough to cover that up. And there's people that, want to smoke cigarettes. Yeah. I don't know how much of that's going on today, but let's go there. You're in a bus of people who enjoy smoking. Yeah. Everybody's a smoker but you, baby. And now you're going, let's just say from Washington State to Iowa. There's a casino down there. They got some down there. So now you're traveling in this bad boy. Yeah, you're going down Highway 90. And they've managed to book this job in the middle of the winter time. And now the bus is going sideways. You can feel it's because they're having to drive so fast to their gig to get there. They're having to really make this thing happen, and you're burning through diesel, baby. You're burning through it. And you're starting to get a little seasick. You've taken Dramamine, but eventually things aren't working out so well for you, baby. So you wind up laying on the floor. Now, I did all this in an RV, right? And we really did have to go to Iowa, right? We really did have to, we really were in the winter time. Going sideways. I was in this girl group at the time. They had a little dog. He's a cute little thing. All it did was shake. And then sit next to me and just shake. That little thing just kept shaking. And, I just love on it and pet him, make sure he's all right. But yeah, going back to this thing, my experiences with these road tours in RVs, I mean, the bus is going to give you more stability. I don't think you're probably going to be rocking side to side quite like you do in an RV, but who knows? I've not done the bus thing. But I have seen inside of them. I take that back. I take all that back. I have actually been in a bus where we've been riding around in it. I haven't had any long, grueling road tours in them, but yes, I've rode the gigs in them. And let me think about this. And we did have a Detroit Jimmy. Yes, we did. We did have a Detroit Jimmy in that bad boy. It's all coming back to me now, happy baby. It's all coming back. And we didn't have any, seats in the bus, It wasn't like Patsy Cline with all the seats still in the bus. No, they'd taken these out. And they put regular chairs in them, And we'd be just falling all over because the guy that was the leader of the band, obviously, was a bus driver. And he'd slam on the brakes and we'd all go sailing forward, and then he'd jam on the gas, and we'd all fly in the back. Yeah. Let's just say good old Uncle Tony over here was getting rug burns. Yes, poor baby was experiencing rug burns all over the place. And as we're thinking about this, though, from a point of view of what people are going through out on the road. Now, there are going to be people that can just sleep at the drop of a hat, okay? There are going to be people that can just, you know, they're just designed for this. They're pacifists. They don't care what side of the political field you're on. They don't care. They're just there to eat the junk food and play the gigs. You know, that's the right one, baby. That's what you have to be out there. You have to be, you know, when it's time to do that gig, you have to be on top of it. On top of it. When it's time to do your rehearsals, you got to be on top of that stage. But the rest of the time, you got to be the laziest son of a gun on the planet. You've just got to be like an iguana with a sun lamp, you know, just... I mean, you've got to be there, baby. You've got to be there. And, you know, I mean... Yeah, I saw into this bus with these little pods. Actually, it was another boss of mine that had this bus with pods in it. And he goes, "This is where you're going to sleep, Tony." And I said, "Oh, yeah. How wonderful is this?" You know? And the bus just sat. It never did anything. We never went anywhere with it because he also had a Detroit Jimmy in it. He also had a Detroit Jimmy in it. And, I mean, we didn't want to start it up. I mean, there goes Junior's college fund if you start that bad boy up, let me tell you. But, no, I mean, we're riding in this, you know, the reverbs and all that other stuff. I mean, we're riding in it. And with all that reverb that I had from my amp, you know, you can hear it, you know, all those twin reverbs, cling, clang, 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 you know. Because let's just face it, the cargo holds are, you know, jam full, and now you're sitting in the seat with your amplifier. But no, really, I mean, going back into this thing, now you're on the road and you're doing these tours and you're in your little tiny pod that you can't sleep in, and you know, whatever political thing you're on, let's just say that the band is the opposite of what you believe, happy baby. It goes against your standards, baby. And you have to be quiet. You have to not, you know, get too close to these people, but be nice, you know? And then you need, I mean, I'm going to just put it out there. You need a video game section for yourself. You know, you need an Xbox. You need a PlayStation. Charlie Daniels had that in his bus. I mean, the chrome-plated red bus I was talking about. I mean, he had all that stuff. He had, like, believe I told it to you in the other video, but I'll tell it to you again. He had like three of those Xbox in all the games that he could, and that's what you need. You need something like that. I mean, magazines only go so far, baby. And most of these rides are no smoking anyway. And I mean, what are you gonna do, right? So you're out there with this thing, and you're getting sick from traveling. I mean, I'm going to tell it to you straight. I never did, but it's easy to get into drugs, to sleep, to wake up for the gig, to feel better when you're on the road. All of the above. I mean, it's easy, but don't do that. My advice to you, all of you people, is take the plane. Yeah, do what I did. If I got tired of them, I just said, hey, drive me to the airport. Nobody could drive me to the airport. I'd just take a taxi. Jump on a plane, and maybe they're in Idaho. And now you've got to go to New Orleans. Yeah, because that's where you're playing next, baby. A very bad smelling town. But you're going there. You're going there on the plane and you're getting there fast. Now you're in coach, right? You're not in first class. But let's face it, you feel like you're in first class because you're away from them for a while, You're away from them. I mean, what are you doing? Looking at the stewardess's legs? What? The flight attendants are propping you up with pillows, happy baby? No, I mean, really, they're bringing you peanuts. They're bringing you coffee. I mean, when was the last time your band did that, right? Unless you have a manager out there, then they're bringing you stuff. And it's important to have one of those, believe me. A road manager comes in nice. Oh, yeah. So let's just say that you're going there and you get there in New Orleans, and now you got to get out of the damn taxi, right? And now people are beginning to rip you off, happy baby. It's not the most pleasant place to be in the world. Taxi drivers, whatever, they're running around the city and racking up the fees. They're not taking you to your hotel, whatever. But you wind up getting to your hotel. Your motel that you booked? Yeah, your manager didn't book you into this one. The types of motels that the manager loves to book you in, happy baby? The band rooms that look like they took an axe to them and let dogs go to the bathroom in. Yeah. No sheets on the bed, just blood stains. You know what I'm talking about, baby. Damp with mold growing up the walls since 1972. Yeah, that's what your manager has been booking you in. But you booked yourself into a Motel 6. And you get in there and you think you're just at the Hilton. You think you're at a 5-star hotel, and it feels like one. That cheap little Motel 6 feels like one. But you've got time, baby. You've got time in your hotel, because what's it going to take for your band to get to you? 3 days? It's going to take a while for them to get across the United States. And if they're traveling, you know, like I was with girls in the RV, man, I mean, they're going to have to stop and go to the malls. And, you know, heaven help you if you pass a Cracker Barrel. You're going to be there for a while, baby. Because they're going to sit there and they're going to go, isn't this cute? This little teddy bear, or this little thing, or this or that, or whatever. And once they get out of the Cracker Barrel, which is just hours later, yeah, there's a little stray dog. Oh, isn't he cute? And they pick him up. Now, maybe this dog isn't so cute. You know, maybe he stinks. We had one on the road that didn't smell very good. The one that was shaking next to me was clean, but oh well. A road dog? Yeah, baby. It's starting to stink. It's starting to smell bad. Yeah. And you're safe. You know, the rest of these guys are in their hotels. They're in their places. They're in their, you know, I mean, you're in the hotel. You're in the motel. They're in that freaking RV or bus. You know, the zoo on wheels, baby. Yeah, they're there. And you're not. You know, you're experiencing peace where you're at, baby. Because you've poofed yourself up really nice. Now, granted, you're spending a lot of money out there. I mean, a lot of money. You're going through the bucks. But if you're going to remain out there, and you're going to stay out there, and you're going to be out there, and you live out there, you've got to be able to handle it. And you've got to be able to make it work out, you know? Take some time. You know, they're not going to let you go home. Big deal. Take a plane to where you need to go. Have some fun. That's important. I don't care if you use all your money out there and you're just holding on to the gig for the name. At least you're taking care of yourself and not letting these people micromanage you so much that, you know, you're having all kinds of physical problems. You know, because I didn't sleep for 3 months out there, baby. I mean, I neither did anyone else. I mean, we'd show up like pirates to a place. You know? Frighten people. But, yeah, frighten people in restaurants, casinos, hotels, because we just were loopy and just unslept and unbathed, unshowered, everything. But, you know, I mean, you paint this picture, you know, of what musicians go through, you know, in their bus, you know. And one good thing about the bus is it does have the cargo holds. I mean, it does have that. I mean, it's got some things that are pretty cool. Now, our RV that we had, that had a trailer in back that we would, you know, pull and this type of thing, and, band equipment and what have you. We had an extra van out on the road. We had a couple of cars going, So if anybody got in trouble or whatever, you could get there. Unless you were out somewhere, they sent you somewhere. Now you're all alone, baby, out there. But let's get back to this. So, and now it's 2:00 in the morning, baby. Yeah, you've got to rehearse. Because you got a show at 10 o'clock. Yeah? So you've got to rehearse for this thing. And they insist on it. And you're delirious. I mean, nothing's sinking in. You're not there. And they're doing a rehearsal in the middle of the night, which is into the morning of 2:00. Now you're starting to see it, baby. You're starting to feel it. And what are you gonna do? Call home to mom and dad? Hi, mom, dad, you remember me? I mean, these situations are something else. I mean, I had to literally take and tell them, I need out of this band house. I want out of this thing. I'm trying to get through to my parents, but I have to call operator because they're not letting phone calls, musicians call on the phone out. This is before phones. So now these type of phones, but now my parents are calling me. I says, hey, can you send me a taxi? They can't send me a taxi, and finally my sound and lighting manager, he shows up and takes me to a motel that I swear to him. I make him swear. He says, you're not going to tell the band where I'm at. You are not telling anybody where I'm at. And he did. He was like, oh yeah, of course, sworn to secrecy and everything. I go to Denny's, I eat there, I get back to the motel, right? And I go to sleep. I get this, lay my head back, because I had one of those grand slams. And I lay my head back and I hear this knock at the door. Who could that be? I go to the door. I open it up. They're banging on it, beating on it, yelling, Sheriff's Department, open up! Open up now! And I'm going, oh my gosh. I go, gentlemen, could you come in and we just discuss this calmly? And, oh yeah, sure. They come in, he says, why we're here? I said, why? We're here on a suicide. I said, a suicide call? He said, what the heck? He says, you've been in here. He says, you know how long you've been in here? You know what day it is? And I told him the day. He goes, no. It was days later, baby. Days later. I don't know what I did to go to the bathroom or anything. I don't remember any of it. The bed wasn't, I didn't go to the bathroom in the bed, happy baby, but I mean, that was all clean, but man, I must have been sleepwalking or something because I going back and forth. But these cops, they go, well, why'd you have your phone unplugged? I says, you don't know my band. You don't know what they become. They track you down. I mean, they'll track you down better than the CIA can. I mean, your band. I mean, yeah. And then they're like, well, we had a suicide that happened, so we had to respond to the call, and he says, we were just scared to death, and we're just glad to see that you're okay. I said, yeah, I'm just fine. He goes, well, just go down and pay your bill. And he says, you're fine, free to go. He says, I said, okay, thank you. And they left, and I paid my bill, and I took a taxi back to the bar that had the band house on top where they were Happy Baby. But now they're in a little bit of trouble. They're in a little bit of trouble because that, booking agent we had that was booking us all these great gigs all over the place, they're playing a bad gig. Okay, I almost used a 4-letter word there. They're playing a very bad gig. Something that's, a bar gig. And that was the contract. They weren't supposed to be doing anything like that. Well, poor baby left them high and dry. But they played this gig. Now, I will admit I played the first night on, and it just bit. Okay, I had to get out of there. But they played for an entire week there and got in trouble with the booking agent and, got demoted. And, it was not good for them. Now they're coming to me. Hey, do you have any money to help move our group? Yeah. Yeah, baby. We paid you thousands of dollars. And you have that in your account. You have that in your account. We need your help, baby. Yes. Otherwise, we're going to be sitting here without gas. We're going to be sitting here for all of eternity, and the girls won't be able to go to the Cracker Barrel anymore. And you see how these things unfold? Honestly, if you guys are in a band or going out with a band or a big group, you really need a contract. I don't like legal things. I don't like having to go to lawyers. And if you're with a group that says, oh no, we're not signing anything, we're not going to do anything, I'll bet you anything that you're going to have problems, because they don't want to sign anything. They don't want to fess up to anything. They don't want to be responsible for anything. And if you're in a gravy situation and with a lot of money in back of you, and the people that you're working for are throwing you lots of money, and you're able to pay for your own hotel rooms or travel with the band and do all the above, yeah, what a great gig. And by all means, keep that gig. Land on that bad boy with all fours, because let me tell you something. It can always get much worse, baby. It can always sink into the oblivion with the cushions. You're drowning in the cushions, baby. Yeah, you've sunk a lot. But if you're up there like that, you need to do everything you can to sustain that gig. I've heard all kinds of stories. The heater broke in the bus. And let me tell you, when you're traveling, like I was saying, in that bus or that RV is fishtailing in back, you're sliding all over, you're wondering, are we going to roll this thing? Am I going to live through this thing? Try to sleep through that once. Yeah. try to sleep through that. You know. Well, I hope this has helped you, and I'm gonna do another part. This will be a part 1. I'm gonna do another part 2 of RV and bus travel. And so I hope this has given you some insight and some look at some of the things that we go through on the road, out there. But before I leave, I do want to say one thing, that I really appreciate you guys. And if you're digging this thing, just hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.